back at the home studio today, and I've got a short and sweet little 30-minute number for you. Today I thought the focus might be nice to work on a body part. So my agenda is hamstrings and quads, because if anything gets tight for most people, they're usually saying, oh, my hamstrings are so tight. Now if your hamstrings are super tight, they're going to pull on your back, and then your back's going to give you a little bit of grief, so it's not uncommon. As we find our mat. I've also just brought myself in a strap or a band. I couldn't find my strap, so I just grabbed my band, just in case you don't want to hold on to your leg, and you can use your band or a belt or whatever you've got. Doesn't matter. All right, let's get ready. Allow the head just to soften. Relax the back of the neck, and gaze goes low. Just spend a minute or two just bringing ourselves onto the mat. If you're anything like me, you're doing something very last minute before you arrived here. It's nice just to find this quietness. Get rid of all the little clutter that might be going on up in the head. And just bring yourself back into the breath. Nice, long, slow, steady, even breaths here, in and out through the nose. We send the breath all the way down to the bottom lower lobes of the lungs, and we want to fill all the way very slowly up to those upper chambers of the lungs. And what we notice by doing that is that the chest and the belly rise and expand here. Full breath in, full breath out. I know sometimes we're very mindful of taking a nice big full breath coming in, but are we just as mindful of emptying all of the breath? Allowing the mind to be just as slow as the breath is. When you're ready, let's keep that beautiful slowness to your breath, but maybe a little wriggle at the fingers and the toes. Now, because we're doing a lot of leg-driven work, the first part of us will start lying down on our mats. So let's find that space first of all. Then we'll go knees to chest as our very first one. I'm going to bring my band in straight away because we will go into a hamstring stretch initially, but a nice little tight hug here. Now often we hold on to the shins, which is all fine, but if you grab underneath the backs of the legs, sometimes you can tuck in just a fraction deeper. It can just be a little stronger. See how that goes. Just a real small rock when you're ready. Just awakening that spine. Nice and slow. Nice and steady, left and right. Good. Allow the legs just to rest here into the center. Release the right leg long. Keep the left leg in nice and tight into the chest here. A little tight hug. This is where we'll start off that hamstring stretch. Great idea to press the back of the right thigh down into the floor. This neutralizes the pelvis. This single kneaded chest is going to give you a little bit of stretch into this lower back. It's a nice little starter. And as we unfold the legs, I'm going to loop my band around. That takes us into a hamstring stretch. Now, being the first hamstring stretch of the day, it's going to be a toughie. And it is a strong stretch as it is, hence the reason why I'm choosing to use a tool to assist and to help. keep the alignment of the hips here. So that just means for us making sure that as we pull this leg up and in, that the left hip didn't ride up near the left ribs. Meaning left sit bone or left glute stretches down towards the end of the mat. Toes pull down, heel presses up, feel it a little bit stronger into the calf that way. And breathe. Yeah, breathe into the back of that leg. Take the band into your right hand now. We are going to bring the leg across just a little. Okay. So keep it in tight, but just bring it across a small amount. Rotate when you do that leg inwards. So turn the whole leg in towards the right. Send the left bottom cheek down to the end of the mat. Rotate the leg. Very nice. And then breathe in. The leg will come back to the centre. Yeah. And we're going to unloop. Get ready to take it over onto the other side. So knee to chest. First up, right knee to the chest. A little tight hug. Loop it over. It's a beautiful day out there today. I see blue sky, no rain, sunshine. Good. Send that right bottom cheek down, toes pull down, heel pulls up. And into the opposite hand, turn the leg in, yeah, and just bring it across a little. Okay. Awaken up the outer side of the legs, a little bit more calf, a little bit more activity. Yeah. So this is a great class if you're feeling like your legs are they're heavy and they're crampy and they're just they're restricting you. They feel like really restricted is a really good word. Like just feel like that they're tight all over. So this will really help them. Alright, so there we go. Bring this leg back into your chest. Bring your two knees back into your belly. Lengthen the right leg again long, and we're going to roll this knee across the body. Look over towards your left as your knee goes out to your right. You can still use your band if you wanted to here. I find that even as flexible as my hamstrings are, that it's often hard to grab hold of this leg when it extends out. So we've got the knee coming across the body and then that full kick out. That way I don't have to strain my shoulders or even my neck to lift up in order to get this, support the leg, stretch it out through the left heel. So big pull back of the toes and press away with the hip. And then send your left bottom cheek all the way down to the end of the mat. Okay, this is a little stronger than that first one. And that's all because we're layering, we're getting there. Bringing the leg when you're ready back up towards the ceiling. We're done. We'll go back knee to chest, right side. You can even hook. If you've got your band or your strap, you can already go hook it in here. So bring it across. So use your left hand, roll the knee across. Shoulders stay on. So even this can stretch a lot of people's glutes. Stretch their bums and upper hamstrings just because of the fact that we've brought the leg over on this bit of diagonal, and that's where it gets some extra length. Then kick this guy out and hold on. So I find that so much easier than me trying to find down here. Use your straps, use your props. So last night was the first night back into the studio, and obviously I'm blessed to have all of my props, and I know a lot of you guys are at home because you've been practicing at home. But there's quite a few people who just bought mats, and it made me realise just how important it is to use your props. Even if your props are 2 sets of books or, as I say here, dressing gown belt, it doesn't matter, but gee, it just takes the strain out of it, 100%. Just, you actually feel like you can be more, I call it authentic, really honest in your pose. Nice. Let's hold that leg back up. Again, I don't have to strain the leg. The strap did all the work for me. Come into a pelvic curl, finger onto the floor. Now, a lot of times, take a breath in, exhale, tilt the pelvis back, curl on up. A lot of times we see pelvic curl as being a spinal, and I cue it like that, a spinal articulation, moving your spine, getting space between each of the vertebrae. And it is that, don't get me wrong, but it's also very hamstring driven. And you'll notice this when you put the legs in elevation. Yeah, so we'll do a couple more. Breathe out, tilt back, peel away. Breathe in. And breathe out, curl back down. Good, last one. And back down. All right, so let's try it in elevation. If you've got blocks, or you've got anything high that you want to bring the feet up onto, I don't know, but you can even go as high as, say, my step, if you had something like that. Some people have like little aerobic steps, or even, you'll see my little step that I had at the studio to turn off the lights, those little sort of stools. Anything with a bit of elevation, notice then how much more work goes into these hamstrings. If you've ever done this on the reformer in Pilates, you'll notice it's also super hard because those feet are really elevated and really instigates hamstring work. Alrighty, now, when you come back down after this one, let's think about using the hamstrings a little bit more. And as you press your feet down into the blocks, can you pull your heels towards your bum for me? So tilt back, okay, press down, and now pull, 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 pull. Heels to armpits or heels to hips. And then inhale, don't lose the pull. Keep the pulling the heels to armpits as you exhale, roll back down nice and slowly. Once you touch down and you get back into neutral, then you can let these hamstrings go. Okay, let's do it again. Exhale, tilt back, press down into the blocks, pull heels to armpits, go, 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 go. Yeah, inhale, keep those heels pulling in. And exhale, so you've got some glute activation, some upper hammies too. Perfect. Let's get 2 more of these out. Inhale. Exhale, tilt back, get ready, press and pull. Press and pull. Ease it back down. And let's make this one our last one. But if you feel okay with it, can we convert this one into bridge? Down go the feet, pull into you, wriggle the arms, and let's stay here for a few breaths. Press the backs of those arms down into the floor, hips are nice and high, belly draws in, breath stays steady. So much to think about in this one. Okay. Let's see if we can get 3 more breaths out here. If you can, stay with it. If not, roll on down. Release, ease down. If you were on any sort of elevation, any blocks on the elevation, you can move them off to the side. Let's go windscreen wiper knees in this one. This is just going to get us out of that lumbar or that sacral area. So float and back to the center, float again. I really feel this over my hips, particularly in the mornings. Float, it's a really great starting of this hip. And even the ITB, the band that runs down the side of the legs, this is a great stretch for that. You'll bring the legs back together. Take your right hand and grab hold of your right ankle. Keep the right heel into your bottom. This leg, you'll start to see it's going to spiral inwards, and you're going to roll the knee down to the floor. So here we go. As I promised, a little bit more leg work. This is very quad driven. You want to watch in this one that your back doesn't go into this extension, a big arch. So really contain the ribs down onto the mat. And let the right knee just work with gravity. You don't have to push it. You don't have to bounce it. You just let gravity do its job, weighting it down. Though, if you get to a point you think, you know what, it's settled a little, and I think I can challenge this. I can work with this a little bit more. Then you can definitely place the left foot onto the leg. Now that's way stronger. But for me, I find that it's helpful because otherwise it wants to do this little springy number, and I can't keep the resistance. Very personal. Go to where it feels right for you. A great quad stretch. Release, come back up, lift the legs off the floor, use your left hand now, it's going to come down to the same ankle, so that right ankle, now you'll notice the leg spirals outwards, and you're going to do same, heel bum, same, yeah, another leg rolls down, different aspect of the leg now, inner line now, inner, what we call the liver line in traditional Chinese medicine, and also the adductors, the groin and groin muscles. These are all, both these muscles are so important to stretch because that, as we know, they come up and attach into the pelvis. Any of my Pilates people will know that when we talk about any muscle group that attach to the pelvis, they can play huge havoc on the positioning of your pelvis and therefore affects your back. So people think, oh, my back's really sore. Yes, but it could be because your hamstrings are so tight. It could be because your quads are so tight or your adductors are super tight. Stretch them and notice the difference. Could be because your ITBs are really tight. These side bands down the leg. Loosen them, and all of a sudden the load goes off your hips and your pelvis, and then the pain in the back goes. Let's change sides. Same, left, yeah. Leg spirals inwards into that quad stretch. Yeah, so sometimes we try and treat just treat the symptoms. Go, oh, my back's really sore, I better do something about my back. But where's it really coming from? Probably not the back. Right foot weights the knee down. You might notice one side a little more cooperative than the other. This is quite common, and that's okay. We just need to make mental note to self of that. Observe. My meditation people will know that. We are merely the observer and the witness. We're not here to judge. And change. So now as I lift the legs up, my right hand comes and finds my left ankle. Same with the heel and bum action. Again, I can stand on it or not. Like I know for some people this is quite strong. To the point of some people will even say to me, it's excruciatingly strong. And I get that. And they say, there is no way I can weight this leg down. I don't need to. That's okay, we don't need to. Release those legs, knees back into chest. One last little hug to give that lower back a final stretch. If you feel comfortable coming up and sitting by a rocking action, head there for me. Otherwise, roll to the side. It'll bring us up into sitting. We are going to stay straight on our mat. I am going to suggest, and I'm going to do it even just for myself because I like the sensation, to sit on something very little. Now, it could be, you'll see how I sit on my corner, my little triangle, but it could even be this mat rolled up 1 or 2 times. This is, we call it Paschimottanasana. It's a forward fold, simple. Take a breath in, let the arms rise, and sit right up onto those sit bones. And as we exhale, fold forward here. Now we're all creaky and stiff, and I totally get that. If this was me at night, I know where I would be, but that's not important. Don't worry that this is still feeling quite restrictive. That's okay. takes a long time. If you're with me in the morning, it takes a long time for these legs and this back of the body to really loosen up and to fire up. Again, you might pull the toes back, or you might even, you know what, I'm going to help myself out here. And I'm going to get this band or my strap, and I'm going to use it to help draw me down and into. Perfect. Nothing wrong with that either. I like that idea. Crown of the head draws down towards the feet, and chest lowers and lays down on the thighs here. Breathing release, come back up. Pull the foot of the left foot, pull the toes back. Take your right foot and let it sit up on top of it. Come forward again now. It changes the emphasis of the stretch. One leg on top, one leg underneath the bottom. Because it forces, in essence, the toes back, you can definitely feel more calf stretch into this underside leg. Release and come back up, switch the legs, heel on. My left foot's going to come up, I pull the toes back on my right and I let my left leg come and rest up onto here. Hands if you want to, and if you think it's a better option. And we go, chest to thigh. Release the band. Let's get that leg off. Good. Bring the knees in. Get ready to swing around. I'm going to take you into down facing dog from here. Hands underneath these shoulders. Now we know all too well that down dog is a perfect back body stretch. We've done a lot of hammy stretching. So we should find that the backs of the legs feel a little looser. You want to press the mat away, and as you push the mat away, it sends you back into your sit bones a little bit more. More weight goes into the back of the body, more hamstring, more calf stretch. Slide the shoulder blades down the back, and let go of the head, neck and shoulders. Now I'm going to give us another one which is a little bit new as well. Bring your right foot into the center. Take your left big toe and use that to pull this right heel down more. Notice the difference when you can actually anchor. You can really pull the heel down towards the floor. Change the legs, so your left's going to go into the center. Your right big toe helps pull the left heel down. It's a really great way to find more length into the back of this leg. Bring the feet back, align them as they would with your hips. Go into a three-legged down dog, left leg, right leg leads. Doesn't matter if you change legs, knee to chest and step through. Low lunge and then drop into crescent. Feel free to bring those little blockies in if need be. And we get that beautiful stretch across the front of that thigh. Who doesn't love a hip flexor stretch? I do. You can play with this. So sometimes we become really linear in this. So shoulders square, the front of the mat, hips are square. But see what happens when you start to play around with it. For example, as I start to bring my hands around towards the left, I'm not letting my knee lose its traction from being in line with the hip, but I'm just keeping that still, but I'm just playing and seeing what happens when I go into a bit of a rotation here. For me, it makes the hip flexor stretch a little stronger, which I'm very happy to accept. Again, I just know how nasty these guys are and how they can really impinge on backs. And then come back to centre. Alrighty, left heel, left bottom, same heel, same bottom, same hand. Again, what is the strongest version of this is being more upright. So low here, all good, high, higher, much stronger. So the more and more and more upright I become, now the more square I make my hips, the stronger it is. Now let me give you another variation to this. You could lie down on your side and just bring your heel into your bottom. Okay. All good stuff, all great quad stretches. But let's not rush through this one. Let's take our time, just be patient and really give this thigh a good deep stretch. I promise you they'll thank you for it. Now gently release it. Return back into your down facing dog. It's going to be the left leg that goes up. Into chest step through to where the hands are. Crescent here. Drop those hips. We know that we get a little more depth out of this crescent of the moon when we press the front of the shin bone down into your mat. Then we pull the leg forward. Now we actually don't drag it, so we don't physically move, but we create the sensation that we're going to pull the hip forward. And that's what we're after here. The idea or the sensation of pulling the hip towards the front edge of the mat. Have a go. Play around with this one. Does it make a difference if you move direction? One thing that we need to remember about yoga is that it's not textbook. If you find that you get more, so if I tell you this is where you should feel the stretch, it should be in your hamstrings, should be in your glutes, it should be in your sides, then find a way to explore where you might get the most out of that. Because if I know it's going to be in this hip flexor, how can I find more opportunity to go into that hip flexor? Don't feel like it has to be how you might assume that pose to be. We all live in different bodies. And then we've got that quad stretch. So again, same principle. If you say, I can't do that quad stretch, I need to hold onto my wall, or I need to roll over onto my side, I need to do this I need to lie on my belly and pull my heel into my bottom, but then so be it. That's what works. Where am I supposed to be feeling it? In the front of the thigh. How do I recreate that sensation? Is totally up to you. The beauty of the practice, the beauty of it, even just doing it at home, because you can just muck around with it as much as you want to. As much as we talk about non-judgment, we all judge ourselves, no matter how good we are or how much we try not to. So we all think, I better not do that in class because I'm the only one doing it. At home, that all goes out the window. Fantastic, love it. Love that. Do what feels right for you. As long as you know what you're supposed to be doing and what area you're supposed to be focusing on, find a way to create that. Alrighty, release for me from here. Come into, we call it Hanuman. Come in and pull this heel back, or one more hamstring stretch. I'm really pushing the boundaries for you today because we're going to be right on the nose of half an hour. So, but these are all great stuff. It's always done with a straight leg. 9 times out of 10, the hamstring stretch is always done with a straight leg. Very much so. 10 out of 10 is always done in alignment. I never let my left hip swing out. I never let it move more forward. I always think, if I was to have a spirit level here across this pelvis, is my pelvis level? Is it square with the front edge of that mat? And then that same idea as you did in crescent, pull the heel towards you. You pull to the thigh. Now we're pulling the heel. Alright, we get to release, bend into the knee. It's a nice way to get out of this one. Step you onto the other side. I'm looking at my mat, so I have three mats. Only because when my kidneys were a bit sensitive, I had to have a little bit more padding here. And I took this with me when I went away the other week down to the bush, and I've still got little leaves. I'm finding little leaves all over it. Little memories. think your hamstrings are going to thank you very much for this. Awesome. Soften into this guy and bring your kneecap. I don't mind how you finish off class. You can finish with me sitting, or you're most welcome to finish lying down into Shavasana. What feels right? You're in charge. You're always in charge. Alright. Whatever works for you. Whatever works. But what is the most important thing is wherever we are in rest. Because it's in rest that the body will repair itself. It's in rest where the body will heal itself. So wherever we are, the body is soft. And we're allowing it to restore. And there's a beautiful long full breath that you can revisit in and out through the nose. Notice the length that comes back into the breath, the slowness, the softness of every breath. Just that beautiful natural rhythm of your breathing. Just connecting back in with the breath. And allowing each breath, particularly the exhale, to allow the body just to let go of anything else it's holding on to. It's your softening breath. It's what we call our cleansing breath. It's the breath we use to let go. And when you're ready, let's just wriggle the fingers and the toes as we start to just awaken those joints. We'll allow the palms of the hands to come into the chest if you're sitting with me. Otherwise, you might roll over very slowly to your side and find your way up into sitting. But again, we don't rush the exit. We're just taking our time to work through it. And it's here that we finish class. We honour, we respect, we show gratitude for the practice and for ourselves. And let's close class with Namaste. Namaste. A nice little half-hour blast for you. I hope you enjoyed the hammy and the quad session. Come back, revisit it several times. You could even put this on replay and do it twice. Have a beautiful day. If you're with me this morning on Tuesday morning, it's a magic day here. The sky is blue and there's sunshine, and we're moving out of winter. We're getting closer out of winter. Take care. And what's today, Tuesday? So I would see meditation people on Wednesday morning and restorative. So week 3 of restorative we're up to. We're heading closer towards the last of our restoratives. Enjoy.